Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for spending my son's university fund on a trip to Europe to drink beer like I always threatened instead of giving it to his stepbrother after he passed away? My son was smart. Smarter than me. I almost requested a paternity test because he was so damn intelligent. That is a joke. My ex and I divorced when he was about 12. She remarried when he was 14. I did when he was 16. I had an RESP set up for him. That's a education fund in Canada. As long as he went for post-secondary education he could use the money for anything. I always told him that I was okay with him not going to university. That way I could use the money I had saved up for him to go to Belgium and buy some beer from monks that only allow you to buy one case. He knew I was joking and he always played along. He wouldn't let me get his goat. When he got accepted to McGill it was the proudest moment of my life. I took him out for a beer to celebrate his achievement and mourn the loss of my trip to Europe. My son was struck and killed by a drunk driver in March. I'm dealing with it. My ex is dealing with it. My wife has been nothing but my rock in this. She is holding me up. I was dealing with the funeral arrangements and everything when my ex came to talk to me about his money. She knew he had a scholarship and was just going to use the money for living expenses and an emergency fund. She asked me what I was going to do with it. I said I was going to do what I always said I would. I was going to Europe to drink beer. She asked if she could have it for her stepson. I thought about it and said no. Her husband is a decent enough person but he made it clear that he wasn't responsible for any expenses for my son. Beyond food and shelter and stuff obviously. Like I said, he is decent. I said I was not going to do that. I was going to go drink beer in my son's honor. She says I'm wasting thousands of dollars. And I guess I am. I have to give back the government portion of the fund. But I don't care. My ex thinks I'm being stupid and irresponsible wasting my son's money like this. I don't care. My son would laugh his butt off if he knew I actually did it. Top comments. Not the a-hole. Sorry for your loss. I thought it was a clickbait title but this is a sad post. I hope you enjoy your trip and pour out some for your homie. It sounds like you guys had a good relationship. From someone who lost her 15-year-old sister to a car accident, this really tore me up way more than I thought it would. She was killed a month after her 15th birthday and had just been accepted to a private high school with a full-ride scholarship she had been trying for. The acceptance letter sat on her vanity in her room for years after. You are not the a-hole, if anything, far from it. The ex-wife even asking is a huge one. Please go to Europe and celebrate his life. It's the only thing that should be done with that money. If you have a Venmo/Cash App etc. I would love to also buy you a beer. I'm truly sorry for your loss. Opie replies. Thanks for the offer. I'm going to update when I'm there. I would appreciate it if you had one with me instead. My condolences. Your ex can ask for the money but she shouldn't expect you to say yes. Not the a-hole. Westvleteren Gold Cap is particularly worth traveling for. Opie replies. That's the stuff I want. It is by lottery so I probably will only try it at the visitors center. Not the a-hole. You're not wasting your money, you are celebrating your son's life and mourning your loss at the same time. I'm sorry for your loss and I hope the trip is healing for you. Raise a glass to your son for all the internet strangers who are thinking of you. Not the a-hole, and have fun going to Belgium and picking up your case of Westvleteren. Next story. Am I the a-hole? I told my parents they birthed a disabled child so they just have to live with it. I 22F have been diagnosed with ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, low muscle issues, anxiety and am slightly blind. I got diagnosed from the age of 2 to 7 with everything. Due to all of my diagnoses I am unable to drive anywhere. I can still bus places and take Ubers but being driven somewhere is sometimes the best option for me. Multiple doctors told my parents I would be unable to drive due to being slightly blind and having anxiety. As I'm unable to hold a full-time job I don't have heaps of money coming in so Ubers are usually a last resort. Yesterday I had asked my dad if he could pick me up as the bus I was supposed to take never came. When he went to pick me up he made a few comments saying it would be a lot easier if I could drive, and how I should learn to drive anyways despite that fact that doctors don't want me to as he hates having to pick me up all the time. I replied that it's just what happens when you have a disabled child and it's something you have to put up with. He took massive offense to that and told Mum, who thought I was being incredibly rude. He picks me up once or twice a week at most. Top comments. So, I'm not judging here because there isn't really anything to judge, but I will posit this question. Do you expect him to drive you everywhere for the rest of your life? Do you have a plan for how you will gain a measure of independence? Not the a-hole, but also don't take them for granted, cause a lot of disabled people don't got parents. Opie replies. I definitely love them to pieces and have seen firsthand how some kids get treated. Not the a-hole. I've a disabled child who's now 16 and his health issues started at 14. As it stands he'll never be able to drive etc. and I've cried for the dreams I had for him and lost, but I accept his new normal and in that I'm his personal taxi. Your parents have known what your future would be like for 20 years. Plus if you drive against medical advice it would probably make your insurance invalid, would in UK. That's if you're issued one to start with, and that is a whole legal mess I don't think you or your parents want to get into. You are so much nicer than I would have been. I'm so sorry that he took his frustration out on you. I'm sure there are many things you'd like to do but can't, and having no support system sucks. Opie replies. I would love to drive, but I know that I wouldn't be able to, and I also do not want to cause harm to other people on the road. If I ever become a millionaire I would love to have a self-driving car and learn with that so it can help me out. Next story. Am I the a-hole for ignoring our daughter's inconvenient boundary? My wife, 39F, and I, 36F, have a daughter, technically my stepdaughter, but I've raised her since she was 5, 19F, from a previous relationship of my wife's. Her father is not in the picture, who has come back home after her first year at uni. She's picked up a new, and problematic, issue since she was last home for an extended period of time, surrounding laundry. Basically, she has established a boundary where nobody is to touch her clothes. Her reasoning is that she's concerned something will go missing/get damaged, thinks it's just gross for us to go through her stuff, and is an adult who deserves privacy. All fine, we have 3 young children in our home, 9F, 9F and 2M, so plenty of washing to keep us entertained. The issue is that she has a habit of monopolizing washing facilities to the extent where we're effectively prevented from being able to get any other laundry done. For example, last weekend she put a wash in before work and hung it out on the line at around 11 a.m. She then left for work, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., her wash was dry within an hour, and obviously she wasn't going to be back all day. We had a few days worth of washing to get through, so my wife, her mom, took everything off the line and folded it. We got through 5 other loads that day. She was not happy when she got home, and said that she'd been very clear that we weren't to touch her things. When we explained the situation above, she said it was first come, first served, not something we've ever said, and that since the next day was due to be nice also, we should have just waited to get through it the next day. That really pissed us off. We've offered her a weekly laundry day, where we'll avoid using the machines so she can have freedom to do as she pleases on that day, but she said once a week won't cut it. Fair enough, but there are 5 other people in the house that need clean clothes/bedding/towels. Other than that, all we can really suggest is that she keeps on top of her washing. If she's at home we'll ask her to clear her clothes from the machine/dryer/washing line as needed, but like any 19-year-old she has a social life/work commitments and is often busy. She's upset because she says we're not respecting her boundaries, whereas we've pointed out that while "don't move my clothes" is objectively reasonable, it's not fair for her to do so at the inconvenience of everyone else in our home. Essentially, the last conversation we had ended up with her in tears because we said as long as situations like Saturday keep occurring, we'll continue to move her stuff. Just for your information, we do fold her clothes carefully, and leave them in a basket in a communal living area so they're kept together, in good condition, and we're not going in and out of her room. We normally have a good relationship with her, so this is all a bit unusual. We've asked her if everything else is okay, and she says yes and seems otherwise normal in and of herself, and she's normally reasonable, so, are we being unreasonable? Edit. So the consensus is pretty much that we're right, and our daughter is being massively unreasonable, and that we're being pushovers for not being tougher on her from the off. We've shown her the comments, and unfortunately she's still insisting that we're the unreasonable ones. We'd never considered the local laundromat, and have banned her from using our washing machine for the next fortnight given she's still unwilling to adjust. She is absolutely furious, and wife has ordered a lock for the washroom door to enforce the 2-week rule. Hopefully a couple of weeks hauling her stuff to and from will help her see the light. Thanks very much all. Edit 2, a slightly calmer update this morning. Our daughter came to talk to us, and apologized for the situation. She said she had found the transition back home hard, I get that, and had maybe become a bit territorial over her stuff while at uni. All okay. She then asked if she could please have a laundry day, and be allowed to use the machine. Her place of work is closed Mondays, so that's now her day, and we've said that she can use the machine on other days, but if by 7 a.m. Tuesday there's anything in the way, or any issues on any other days, we'll be moving her stuff. A genuine sorry goes a long way with us, and while the advice has been to hold firm, we don't really want an issue if the situation can be resolved calmly. We've also made it clear that if her things do have to be moved on any day, other than Monday which is totally hers, and we get any grief about it, we'll go back to a 2-week ban and there's no going back. Maybe a less satisfying update than the last one, but we're happy we can resolve the problem calmly. She did mention she'd read through some of these comments last night, so thank you to everyone that weighed in. Top comments. Not the a-hole. This is insane, you can respect her boundaries but she needs to work within your rules/schedule etc. She can't just dictate something then make it impossible to go about your own business. It's ludicrous. The good thing is, you have the upper hand here. If she doesn't want her stuff touched, then she'd better get it off the line before you need to use it. 1. Ask for her input on timing, but being clear there are 6 people living in the house and she gets the equivalent of January 6th of the available time to do her wash. 2. If she fights it, assign her a time. 3. Respect that time, and don't do any of your wash during her scheduled time, so she can't come back at you that your stuff was in the wash. 4. Go about your business. If his stuff is in the wash/on the line and she's not around to move it, you move it. Done. Period. This teenager making rules crap has to stop. You are the parents, and it's your house. Not the a-hole. It is unreasonable for her to expect you to wait around for her to free up the facilities. If she doesn't like the 1-day-a-week idea, she can take it to a laundrette otherwise, if she isn't around to move her washing in a timely way, it will be moved for her. She doesn't get to set boundaries around the use of common facilities in a home she doesn't pay for. Not the a-hole. The only reason you're not respecting her boundaries is because she's being inconsiderate and selfish. Ironically, that would stomp on most people's boundaries. Tell her you have no problem respecting hers, providing she respects yours. I hate the weaponization of psychiatric terms. Not everything you don't like hearing is a trigger and not everything you don't like happening is a boundary. She doesn't like you touching her clothes? Fair enough. You don't like her leaving her stuff blocking laundry? Also fair enough. But framing as a violation of her boundary, she's made it as a borderline assault. You can't negotiate from there and your reasonable needs make you wonder if you are the a-hole. You are not the a-hole. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel our posts.